Voice module online.
Are you listening?
Get over here!
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
This week on RDS Gaming, life's a popularity contest, and I'm the prettiest girl at the party. Hello, and welcome to episode 47 of the RDS Gaming Podcast, your most offensive source for all things nerd, geek, and gaming. I'm the first voice you hear every week. That's right, it's Racer. Joining me tonight? Well, it's the same too. Sorry, I was trying to spin that up like it was going to be something fantastic. We've got Zero.
Fucking right.
Oh, by the way, audience, I promised, and it happened. You're not going to hear my voice 8 times every time he cues the mic. I know it's going to disappoint some of you, but it's going to make my life easier. And we're also joined by Black Sun.
Evening. And Zero's a little fantastic. I mean, you don't want to discount him too much.
What fantastic.
That's just what I hear.
Let's not fucking lie, Black Sun. There ain't nothing fantastic about my ass. Nothing.
No, you don't have a nice ass. I'm not going to deny you that.
Fantastic.
Now that, sir, I can get on board with that.
See, there we go. It's already better. Makes my pants tight.
The joys of technology?
I was going to say, maybe the dead silence was from the things I said and not actually him worrying about the reverb issue.
Might have been, but it's hard to say.
I mean, not really. I'll have the raw data. I can really pretty easily pick all that out.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Everybody else excited?
Oh, hell yeah.
About some things, not so much on others.
What are you excited about then?
Life. My schedule getting straightened out. There we go.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Finally?
Yeah. And, well, that's excited. I got a little bit of game time, so I could enjoy a little bit for another week or so.
Hell yeah. What you been playing, buddy?
Well, I've been tearing up the roadways, you could say. Do a little Need for Speed.
Is it out now?
It is. I'm trying to get that payback.
Fucking A, man.
I mean, it's been out for an undetermined amount of time, so as not to date the podcast.
We never said he was, that quick. I mean, quick enough.
I actually didn't know what the release date was.
Yeah, no, it's a Racer and I. We're talking a little bit, and then I think that was on Tuesday. Him and I were talking a little bit, and then he basically told me I need to step up my my autolog game up because he was easily beating my times.
Yeah, I saw some chomo was posting times before he even said anything about it. I'm like, nah, we ain't going for this. And now I'm getting to go around and knock all of his times out again.
Did Racer push a butthole in? Is that what happened, Black Sun?
Well, some of them were. Some of them were close. I think I got 1 or 2 here. Well, one, maybe 2 here and there. Others were close. Then, I'd say I actually got one of my derelicts up and going and improved it. Then, last night I was doing a little bit and went back to get some speed cards so I can improve it and move on.
Welcome to the next 3 weeks of your life.
I figured as much, but that's okay. That's a little bit of length, and they're still fun to improve on.
Oh, trust me. Yeah, we'll get into some little bits there here in a few, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. It is a entertaining game.
Hell yeah.
See, went back to the 240Z with some drifting, and I did way better than the stock one I started with, or factory model that they gave me to go with the first time, and I'm doing much better now. Still could use a little more power though.
Yeah, I'll tell you that once you get up, there's a lot of different ways to do it. Like I've yet to find a good on-road, a good off-road vehicle that drifts well on-road. But just about everything else, if you get it fast enough, it'll drift like a motherfucker.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was noticing. Because I was tooling around getting some stuff and whatnot, and I was in my my STI, and it's like hit some of them curves. It's like, hey, drift challenge, all right, and yeah, nope, there's no way to get that.
I'm gonna, and this may be me, and again, I will get into that point in a little bit, but you may want to just go ahead and buy a Raptor.
I'd say I tried the base model of one a little bit, and it was, I mean, it was not geared or improved at all, so it was base, but that thing was just like a super tank and did not want to turn at all in the corner.
Come on. You don't turn off road, you just drift.
Well, that's kind of was a given and part of it, but it didn't want to come around for me. But like I said, it was only it was a low rating, so it was not really. It may not have enough power to do it.
Yeah.
I did switch one of my derelicts over for that though, so I'm gonna give that a shot. The old C10.
Nah.
I'll see how it goes. It's pretty much stock too, but go do a couple more. Or I've already done it and see how it goes.
Well, that's cool. Sounds like you're making some pretty good progress.
Yes, that was definitely interesting though when it got to the old motocross track part.
You'll be spending a lot of time there. Don't worry.
No, that worked. The first time there, the first two of the four laps, I either hit the rocks or one time I landed and went dead center on the telephone pole on the right hand side.
Yeah, yeah. It took me a couple of runs to figure out the perfect way to hit that ramp, and that is like there does seem to be a little bit of background shenanigans because I just kind of slid sideways in midair at one point and came to a dead stop.
Nice.
I'm like, all right, that's cool. I mean, I still managed to catch up because I was running that race on repeat to get parts to upgrade that so I can continue the race series. Because fuck you, off road. But yeah, I've noticed a little bit of jankiness on that track as well.
Now I'm trying to get the work on a drag also that was a derelict in. Well, I have no, how some of them they at the beginning you get the side bets, which I do like. Some of them are challenging, some well not they go right with what you're gonna do, so it's not that bad and it's easy to do as long as you win. But the wheelie ones for the drag car one, I will have no issues now.
I do. My drag car is a Skyline.
Yeah. I kind of seen that, but I took the V-Dub Beetle derelict. I made it a drag car.
I unlocked the only one I've unlocked so far is the Mustang. I have the Beetle and a couple of the parts, but I haven't gone hunting. Honestly, I unlocked the 15 Mustang and I haven't really looked back since then.
Hey, if you're happy with that, go for it.
That's all right. I just unlocked the GTR, the new GTR.
Ooh.
So I see there will be another one added to the stable once I get done going, fuck, I haven't used this car in like 4 hours. Yeah, time to go to the speed shop. Oh, look, I'm broke again. Time to go race. Ah, shit, I gotta go run a different type of race. Fuck, I haven't been in this car for 4 hours.
Yeah, that happens. I don't actually have like for the actual like the regular race part. I have my starter S2000 still. That's gonna get changed out.
Well, I guess since we're talking about it anyway, so I'll go ahead and jump in. Obviously, I have sunk a decent amount of time into Payback as well, and I'm gonna tell you, it is exactly what the Fast and the Furious wishes they could be. Like if we were at the point where movies could be 100% CGI all the time and indistinguishable from real life, this is what the next Fast and the Furious movie would be.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a racing game, but I'm still not going to spoil it. But there is some shit that happens that is just absolutely like fucking Michael Bay would masturbate watching this.
Good story. A few shenanigans here and there.
Yeah, and this wasn't even like it was fairly regular shit. And like they're pulling from the Driver series and the Fast and the Furious, and you're like, oh, I can see what's going to happen. No, no, you can't. They just come completely out of left field and they're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's throw a little death race in there too.
Oh, there's shit.
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining. But yeah, I'm on just started what will be the last set of races before the main event. And I'm kind of going around and poking at some different cars and doing stuff, but I would just like to give a wholehearted giant fuck you to off-road racing. Like I don't even know. Maybe I'm just terrible with that section cuz I can take a fucking runner car 30 points under the recommended level or a race car 50 points under the recommended level. No problem. Drift car, not even I need nothing for any of those disciplines. Off-road, 20 points above, getting my ass kicked.
Off road is a little more. I'd say when I started going back to the 240Z doing the drift, I was 50, 75 points under, no problem, and I was blowing them away. I was decimating my old ones and going through it, and I'm like, yeah, nope, this is perfect. This is how it should be. I mean, you don't necessarily need as much air, so you should be able to work a little bit more out of it. The race, it's not. If I'm close, I can do it. Same with the runner. Runners, that no problem. It's just smart driving. But yeah, the off road, no, you gotta have the right equipment. You gotta be right there with them. I mean, that's same for me.
Now I will
And
warn you, when you get up to a much higher upgrade level, they seem to scale the AI.
yeah, that's right.
Like I've got a Mustang GT as my race and as my runner, and I took it through the end of the second set of runner missions, and holy shit. 160-mile-an-hour T-bone from a Charger ruined your goddamn day.
Oh, holy fuck. Yeah.
And I mean, I am flat ass hauling, and those motherfuckers do not care. Just like it is fucking secret police from some Middle Eastern bloc country. They come out of the trees, they crawl out of your butthole, they just appear out of nowhere like fucking just amazingly. Suddenly they're there and slamming into you, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I have to be faster than you. I'm doing 170 miles an hour, and your fucking stock Charger is beating my ass.
Oh, it's not necessarily, and not just beatings. They're flying up on you, 40, 50 mile an hour faster from behind you and rear-ending you. It's like, where the fuck you come from? How'd you catch me?
I did have one one situation where it broke the game for a second, and like there was one charger right behind me, and he kept speeding up and would get about an inch away from my bumper, and then he'd back off, and just kept doing that for about a quarter of a mile, and then suddenly shifted to the side, took off, and then slammed into the front of my car and spun me out.
Well, that fucking sucks.
Well, this isn't working. Fuck this. Time for a new maneuver.
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting. If I could never do off-road racing again, I'd be happy. Everything else has been pretty solid. Nothing. I haven't gone back and really competed hardcore to increase times or do anything better, but it's just like I said, it's just a fun game. But yeah, massive fuck you to off-road racing. That is not how cars handle on the dirt. Fuck you. I grew up in the dirt. Eat my butthole.
Oh no! And then say even the STI and whatnot. When I say use that for, it's way too loose and not enough grip. There's more grip. There should be more grip than that, and it's way too free. It's like okay. I mean, I know we're on dirt, but I'm not on ice.
And that seems to be the worst. That series seems to have the worst rubber banding out of all of them. And it's not every race or every track, but I've noticed a couple of them. Like they'll get a good 3-4 second lead, mostly because one of their other idiot teammates fucking slammed into me in the middle of a corner. Thanks for hitting me and making me lose that bet.
And forcing the
Yeah, so I'll lose speed. The lead car will take off, and then they'll get through another 2 or 3 gates, and then suddenly it's just like they slam on the brakes and wait for me to catch up.
yeah, they're like, oh yeah, no, we don't want to make it this bad. We want you to at least have or think you have a chance.
Now my hot run on the motocross track with a Raptor, I was an maybe eighth of a mile or less from lapping a guy.
Wow.
Damn.
What was second place at?
They were half the track behind me, and then suddenly they were right beside me.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, like
a little bit of teleporting there.
yeah, there was no one near me. And it doesn't, that's the one thing that I still find really weird is it doesn't happen all the time. I just finished the second race series, and the last race is a one-on-one, and I blew the guy's doors off. Like, I took off, I got past him, and it's like a 6.5 mile race. And by mile 2, he wasn't on the map anymore, and I never saw him again.
Oh, nice. So when it comes down to that, then it's a little more balanced, at least for that one.
Yeah, well, don't bring a fucking jacked up Stance Nation fucking Porsche 911 to race a race outfitted Mustang GT pumping out 700 horsepower.
That could help, yeah. Have you done any of the roaming races much yet?
I did 2 of them only because it happened. Normally I'm teleporting around and just focusing on shit, but I got the first one I was in an off-road and it was an on-road race, so it was pretty tight. The last one was an accident. I just happened to see one of the roaming racers and chased him to race him using my less powerful runner Mustang versus fucking 2000 Civic Type R. It wasn't even a race. Like, I didn't hit nitrous, I just hit the gas and passed him as soon as we started. I'm like, oh, little guy, this isn't going to end well.
Nice. Yeah, I was near the hangar on one, and there was an off-road one nearby. Driving around, I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Yeah, I was saying that was through that section, and it had been a little bit upgraded since then. It was, well, I'd say it was probably low 200s, and well, he was at a 150 off road, and yeah, it wasn't good. It was kind of, it wasn't too bad the first half. Last half it got bad. But apparently, gonna go race what's her face again at the end. She wants rematch. Big sister, that's who it is.
Yeah, I don't know if that actually ever happens. I think that's just shit talk.
It could be. Like I said, I've only done that one.
I may not have made it that far yet, but yeah.
Well, however many in her crew. Well, for that would be the number of races, so you have to get through 4, I think, and then yeah, you'll have a chance at it. Maybe, I don't know. Like I said, I seen it. It was an opportune moment, and I went for it.
Oh yeah, and I think the crew leaders, if you run the random street racers, you have a chance to re-race those guys. So they may actually be a independent race as well.
New and improved to come and try and kick your ass.
But yeah. How about you, Zero?
Well, I have been playing more Skyrim, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Although,
I'm gonna send out a petition now. Zero's gonna be banned from the next podcast until he's done with Skyrim.
oh, I'm actually just about finished with it.
Uh-huh. How many times have you said that?
What do you mean?
How many times? How many times have you been done with Skyrim?
Oh, well, this is probably my third or fourth playthrough. Like since the very first time I bought it.
So you almost got the last troll killed under the bridge. Is what you're saying?
Yes, almost.
Still a couple out there hiding, aren't there?
But you see, now I find myself in a dilemma because the one told me this evening that we have the finances to buy Call of Duty WW2. And I've always liked playing the Call of Duty stuff. But when I hear you guys talk about the new Need for Speed, I want to play that. So now I'm kind of, like I have a dilemma.
Do you want multiple petitions, or do you want to fit in?
No.
No, seriously, do whatever you want, man. I'm still gonna ban you, but
No, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Let's say you said you kind of been looking for, well, a little bit of both. See, I haven't played any of them for ages, for Call of Duty or any of them. It's just no, it's not what they used to be, and it's not right. And fuck them little 9-year-olds that are gonna supposedly fuck my mom.
Oh, I just mute all those motherfuckers.
Yeah, I do too.
I've got no interest in that genre anymore. Not right now. And like, as much as I hate to say it, Destiny 2, while it's good as an experience, it is such a crushing disappointment to me on so many levels. That first person shooters are just kind of dead to me right now.
And and here's my other dilemma, right? So I can easily pick it up on my PC, or I could get it on PS4 and play with my oldest son. Because I know right now the PC that my oldest son has, it's my old PC. So I know it's not going to handle the new Call of Duty. No way.
I hate shooters even more on console myself, but that's just me. It's just I cannot. I started off. I did regular Nintendo, and then I went to PC, and that's when I got into shooters. Quake 2, and Halo and all that came out, and Call of Duties and Battlefields and Black Ops, and I had some of them on console, a couple of them, and it don't feel right. It's not great. It's not no mouse keyboard. It feels off. It's not quick enough. I get destroyed for one. At least with mouse and keyboard, I can be maybe average, have a little bit of a chance to kill a couple people.
I like that. Maybe average.
It's better than on console. Console, it's nope. I'm dead.
I don't know. Like, okay, so the last few Call of Duties, like, they've had fucking wall running and like double jumps and all that shit that I just don't care for. Like, it's just not my deal. This one is old school, just boots on the ground. Like, that's where the draw is for me, because I love playing like Black Ops. That was probably my favorite Call of Duty to play.
I played Black Ops 1. The second one, I think I did a demo or a beta or trial or something for free, or that I just read about it and the changes that I didn't like or something. I never got it, but Black Ops is probably the last one that I might have got. Maybe I got Black Ops 2 and played it very briefly and was very disappointed.
Yeah. So I don't know, because I don't have a good controller for Need for Speed. So like I'm very torn about what I want to do.
Oh, you don't own a PS4 controller, huh?
Will the PS4 work with that?
Man,
Yeah.
you give me 10 minutes, I can make just about anything work with anything. You got I'm like MacGyver. You got some chewing gum and a paper clip. I'll make you a controller.
Like, I'm telling you right now, if my PlayStation 4 controller will work with the new Need for Speed, yeah, like that might have just sealed the deal right there.
Yeah,
Like,
I can make your computer think that your PS4 controller is an Xbox controller.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fucking A. Yeah, there we go, boys.
That's really all it comes down to. It tricks it.
I am 100% about this.
Well, in that case, we're going to do a little rapid fire news.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, so starting off, we've got a little bit of a shit sandwich, and it's open-faced. Take-Two officially announced that they only plan to release games with, quote, recurrent consumer spending, end quote, hooks in them. That's right. More loot crates.
Oh, piss off Take-Two then.
But on the bright side, Monster Hunter devs were interviewed, and they're like, our shit's already random. We don't see the point to monetizing this. Seems like everybody's suffering enough. So yeah, yes, we don't think that's a good model. So props to the guys that make Monster Hunter. You're not a bunch of money-grubbing assholes, or at least not to the level of releasing randomized loot crates. PUBG, I'm looking at you.
Yes.
There's a few good people out there yet. A few.
In other bright news, having managed to be released for not being profitable, but getting assistance from Square to become independent again, IO Interactive is officially working on a new Hitman game.
Ooh, really?
So hopefully we'll get some more of the Agent 47 doing what he do, and not in an episodic style that fails miserably.
Yeah, I think I played the last one, the last real one, and then I know. I remember Gates said he was playing the old episode style one, and it seemed a little off to me.
I just don't like that model. I don't know. I know a lot of people thought it was going to work. It hasn't worked for really anyone but Telltale. And even then, some of their devoted fan base seems to hate them for it. So, saying it here first, or the millionth time, it's the internet. Everybody else has already said it. Fuck episodic gaming in general. Give me the complete experience, since you're going to charge me for DLC and add-ons and pre-order packs and cosmetics and everything else. Just give me the rest of the goddamn game.
Yep, I fully agree there. I'd say
Yeah,
not a big fan.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Black Sun.
I'd say all good. I've demoed the episodic games, and it's like the Telltale series, one of them, and they're okay. They're interesting, but if I'm going to do it, I'm going to want it all at once, and give me 2 or 3 hours. I'll be done with it, and it'll be over. So, unless it's cheap, it's not going to be worth my money, and we'll go that way anyway.
Episodic stuff is why I don't watch fucking TV. I'm definitely not gonna want it in my fucking games. That's just the way it is. I don't like waiting week to week on a story. I'm really not gonna like waiting for 1 or 2 months to get to the next part in the story. No, fuck that. Stay away from it. You'll do better.
So what you're saying is you're a binge watcher.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, I am.
And hey, for news with a lesson in it, for all the people out there that love their system or think anybody that plays on a console has an extra chromosome or is missing part of their brain, a little heads up for you, for everybody out there. And this kind of crosses all borders. AMD and Intel have formed a partnership to build hardware together. Let's stew on that for just a minute. This isn't back when you were in grade school and your fucking chain-smoking mom could only afford to buy you either a used NES or a used Genesis. So we're not talking like low-level plumber hedgehog battles here. This is some big business shit. And they buried the hatchet to work on a program together. Let's keep in mind, there have been points in the past when both companies have accused the other of corporate espionage. And they're working together.
Yep.
And if they can figure this out, let's all try and get along a little better. How about that?
Yeah.
I seen that too, and there's actually, 3 or 4 months ago, there's actually rumors of this, and it was all put aside, and nothing actually came about it or could be found. Then I seen that this week too, and it's like, yeah, no, it was true. They're gonna take their hardware, they're gonna buy some hardware from that person, they're gonna shove it together and say, here you go. Here's a good alternative that'll work. We take the best of theirs, put it with the best of ours, and release a good product. Weird how that is actually happening.
Yep. And that ties into our last point quite well. Disney is in talks to consume consume Fox movies.
Really?
Oh, yes. Which means the X-Men, the real X-Men, no offense, Avengers, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch, but you're not the real X-Men, and the Fantastic Four would fall back under Marvel's movie rights.
Oh, that would be fucking amazing.
And given how badly Fox has fucked the Fantastic Four repeatedly, maybe we get an okay movie. I'm not even a big Fantastic Four fan, but I'm like, yeah, that would be cool.
I was a little curious about it. I seen.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead. I mean, the biggest profit Sony had this quarter came from letting Marvel make Spider-Man Homecoming. Maybe everybody else should come back into the fold, and while they're at it, maybe they should buy Sony Pictures out, but that's going to take a bigger check.
Yeah, that's going to take a real big check.
But I do want this to happen because as soon as I fucking wrote up the news for this week, it came into my head that I want to see this art, like just the fucking Magic Kingdom in the background and like all the Avengers there. And then like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man all walking up and just like Iron Man hugs Spider-Man and just a big banner held up by little fucking birds that says welcome home.
Nice. Very nice.
That would be interesting.
And that is the news for this week.
Nice little group of news.
Yeah.
All right. So, critic commentary versus community commentary. The two not always agreeing and laying out a completely different picture for products. That's the topic.
This could go all sorts of ways.
I was going to say, obviously, we have a lot to say about this. Like, it's a lot of excitement. A lot of excitement build up. We didn't even get to the topic last week, which this was it. And and now we've got nothing. Now I know why we didn't talk about it last week.
Oh, I got plenty to say about it.
Well, open your mouth.
All right, then. So, a lot of times you'll see games, movies, books, whatever, that critics are like, oh, this is fucking terrible. It's god awful. And then somehow you end up either playing it, watching it, or reading it. And you're like, I don't know what the fuck that retard was smoking. This was fantastic. It hit all the right notes at the right times. Fucking gave me everything I was looking for. I don't know what the fuck this guy was doing. Obviously, getting hit by a fucking truck while he was doing this. Maybe that gave him the bad impression, but this was great. And then there's other times when, you know, critics love shit and you're like, this is the most god awful thing I have ever fucking seen or played or read in your life. And
such as,
okay, Boondock Saints. It's one of my absolute favorite movies. I know it's one of Racer's absolute favorite movies. It got fucking panned by the critics. And like it did not do well. But fuck. Like I still remember the very first time I watched that with Racer. And I have never forgotten it. It is fucking absolutely amazing. Can't say enough good shit about it. Like it hits the funny at the right spots. It hits the serious at the right spots. It just fucking, it's a good all around movie. And yet, critics said, oh, it's fucking terrible. That is a prime example. The Wheel of Time series, like going towards books and literature. The Wheel of Time series. Holy fuck. Those books, as far as I'm concerned, they're okay at best. But there's people in the community that love them. And there's critics that say they're fucking great. Like, there's high notes in each one of the books. but they just seem to fucking drag. Like to me, they're not that good.
No. I have the perfect descriptor for that book.
Okay.
It's like Robert Jordan read the Dragonlance series, and he's like, this doesn't make me suicidal enough. There just needs to be more. And then he wrote 9 books and had notes and preparations and treatments done for a 10th book. And he's like, yeah, this is good. This will make a healthy, well-adjusted person want to kill themselves.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's like you took the words right out of my mouth because I was almost about to say I would rather read Dragonlance, which is completely and totally depressing, than I would the Wheel of Time series. Just
And like, I have read that series over the course of fucking 8 years, 10 years. Like, the first ones I could kind of get into. Like, there were, like you said, there were high moments, and then everything kind of seemed like it was working towards a purpose, and you're like, okay, cool, I get it. And then I took a break for many, many years because I didn't really want to see a book or read a book because no more. Please make it stop. And apparently I'd blocked out memories of shit and I start reading it, or maybe I skipped 1 or 10. I don't know. It could have been 1. Like I said, I like long books, but that shit's too long. And then the characters are completely different. Like, Rand went from a well meaning, decent young farm kid with this horrible curse and great power, and then, oh, spoiler alerts, faggots. Then he purifies the source, and then he comes back as like this fucking Egyptian god emperor. And I'm like, okay, that's not the character at all anymore. What the fuck? What did I'm done. I don't even want to read this anymore. Like, there were points where I would skip through the other characters, like browse through the book until it came back to the characters I actually gave a shit about. Like, there is 20 goddamn novels worth of information in one fucking book.
yeah. And yet there's people that claim that series is absolutely amazing. Just a fucking masterpiece. And I'm just like, I don't know if we read the same fucking book, or maybe there was an abridged version that I fucking missed that just cut out all the stupid bullshit.
Like,
I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were gonna come out in support of it to begin with, and I was gonna come burn your house down.
No, if I would have come out in support of that, you probably should have come and burnt my fucking house down because I had obviously lost my mind or been possessed by a fucking demon or some said shit. No, like,
And it bounces back and forth. This is what kills me. Like, it starts out as a Tolkien-esque saga, and then it jumps into some weird fucking teenage fan fiction bullshit. And then it goes into some kind of fucking metaphysical evangelist bullshit. And then it goes into some weird Amazonian vibes. I'm like, just make up your goddamn mind of what you're trying to write. Fuck.
yeah. But that's one of those cases where, like, critics love it. And the community, like, you're either into it or you aren't.
Well,
Go ahead, bud.
I have 2 curveballs for you.
Okay.
One of which is, they're both reversals. And this delves into the comic universe, which I know nobody else gives a shit, but fuck you. Number 1, what used to be, what is now one of the black marks in the entire run of the Amazing Spider-Man was the Clone Saga from the 90s. Which, I get it. The original idea they had was good, and their editorial reasons for it and all the shifting at Marvel was what caused this shit show to go from like a 9-month ordeal to a multi-year ordeal. But as the entire storyline develops, critics hated it, the community hated it. Like, I felt odd once the internet was a thing that I actually liked Ben Reilly. I liked the Scarlet Spider. And everybody else was like, oh, this is garbage. It's terrible. I can't believe this was ever put into print. This is the worst thing I've ever read. And critics are like, this should have killed the Spider-Man series altogether. And I'm like, yeah, the overarching storyline was pretty silly. It didn't make a whole lot of sense, and they didn't know where they were going. But I like the character. I like the comic. It was a good return to form. I started reading this shit starting with the origins. And this felt more like it. You had an untested character that was fucking mouthy and did all the same funny shit, and it wasn't all dark and dreary and disturbing like everything else in comics at the time. Thank you, Todd McFarlane. Don't sue me, Todd McFarlane, I'm sorry. But it was absolutely fucking hated. Like, you would find a couple of people that were like, it wasn't that bad, or I liked it, and then they'd get fucking bitched at in perpetuity. Well, seeing as how Dan Slott's been doing this since he was like 8 years old and has no new ideas, he's like, hey, what if we brought the clones back? Because they did bring the Scarlet Spider back, but it was a different clone. And again, I'm going to try and explain fucking 15 years worth of shit in 30 seconds, but they brought another clone back as a different type of Scarlet Spider, and it was massively popular. So then they bring the original Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly, back as the guy that created him, and it's really confusing. And then that was all to set it up for him to return to his solo series. And a whole actually interesting plotline involving it, but they designed this new costume for him. And it looked dumb as shit. Like they tried to take the influences of the original Scarlet Spider costume and modernize it and make it more sleek. And it just looked dumb as fuck. And the community was pissed. Like, all these people were coming out that apparently were a silent majority, because that happens. And they're like, we want the original costume. This looks dumb. We love the Scarlet Spider. Why would you do this? And it only took 2 issues, and they had him steal clothes from a cosplayer. So he got the original costume back. And like, there were all these people now that are saying, I love the character. I love the series. I wanted it to be that way. And it's the same shit with fucking Jason Todd in the Batman series. The community voted to kill him as Robin. And now there are people lined up around the block to suck the Red Hood's dick. They saw, oh, I love the character, and he was so dark, and, you know, he was a different kind of Robin, and he wasn't Tim Drake, or he wasn't blah, blah, blah. He wasn't Dick Grayson. And I'm like, people called a phone number to have him murdered. What the fuck? Now, that one critics were not against. They thought it was a step forward in the maturity of comics and stories, and Jason Todd was one of the ones you couldn't bring back until you have a good enough story. So I guess my take on the whole thing is everyone's an idiot and everybody's wrong.
Well, as
But-
long as they don't have the glass houses sinking your ships, you're okay.
Yeah. And there's the thing. A penny saved is worth 2 in the bush.
Exactly.
The biggest issue you have when it comes to critics or community ideas and what they think things should be is find a voice that resonates with you. if you can find a reviewer or a critic, because apparently those are two different things now,
All right.
or find a community, if they all kind of say things that you can agree with or identify with, that's probably who you should go listen to. Honestly, I've liked some dumb shit. I've liked some crap in my life. It doesn't have to be life changing. Again, I watch movies to be entertained. I play games to be entertained. I get that you went to film school and you studied this shit, and the framing isn't right, and the acts don't make sense. I don't care. I didn't go to film school.
That's probably why I listen to you guys occasionally.
Well, that's like the whole Need for Speed thing. Like, I haven't played like a racing game since I borrowed Gran Turismo from you, Racer, one for the PS3, and like just hearing you and Black Sun talk about it just makes me want to play it. Like
Dude,
the way you guys talk about it.
I'm going to tell you, there are some non-playable set pieces that will just tickle your fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't doubt there's bits and pieces that your chitlin will enjoy watching.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, trust me, this is absolutely pure unadulterated bombast. Everything is fucking over the top. But again, it's self-aware enough, or seems to be self-aware enough, that it's not doing it for any other reason than to poke fun at the whole genre and to be entertaining. It's like a Transformers movie or a fucking Fast and the Furious movie. They're not going for high art. They're going to be kick-ass and fun.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, kind of like a video game.
Weird how that happens on occasion.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm all for video games as art and shit. But you know what? Sometimes, and I do a lot, both art-wise and fucking business-wise and everything else. Sometimes I want to sit back, click off the higher processes and go, huh, explosion.
Sometimes you just need to let it loose.
See, and I like to do that all the time.
Yeah, well, here's the issue. If I do 170 and go into a guardrail, I have to pay for that shit.
Oh yeah.
Also, last time I checked, I can't just drive through a gas station and have my car go back to being shiny. If I could, I'd get up to a lot more shit.
Just drive through, quick polish job, full of fuel, and well, fuel don't matter because you got unlimited, but full of nitrous just by driving on through.
Exactly.
All right, good to go.
Yeah, that's just, there is no perfect answer, and there is a huge divergence. I mean, look at Rotten Tomatoes and aggregate sites like that. Or look at, I mean, the current state of things. You do something wrong, or you do something the community objects to, and even if everything up to that point was 100% perfect, you're slammed. I mean, fuck, we're even guilty of it. Look at PUBG. We sang the praises of that game to no end and talked about it to death. And they did some shit we didn't agree with, and now we're like, fuck those guys. That's the issue with the community. And it's becoming the issue with critics as well. Everybody wants to jump on board for their own popularity or for their own social cause or meaning. And reviews don't just refer to content anymore. I guess that's why there's a split between reviewers and critics. Critics are going for the source, and reviewers are reviewing the entire thing socially, not necessarily objectively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Tin, I was doing a little bit of actual, I guess, research on this a little bit, and there's one game that we've had a lot of fun with that was not very well reviewed by the critics. How many hours do we have in Killing Floor, fellas?
Oh, good God, I don't even want to know.
Wow. I.
Exactly, and that one, according to the critics that reviewed it, that was not good at all. It's like, nope, this is garbage. Don't even bother. But yet, us and well, many more like us apparently, because it's got like a on the people side of it, it's got like a 9 out of 10.
Okay. I have the original Killing Floor. I have 259 hours in it. Killing Floor 2, I have 183 hours in it.
Yeah, and that's just say that's just one. Say that was one big example that we all played and could relate to easily.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like,
I loved it. I love both of them.
mm-hmm.
Like, I still load those up and play just for fun sometimes. Like, even when I'm by myself, I'll load them up to play.
I would before, but now I got to be a little more picky with it. So yeah, I can't just play all
you
of
have
them.
time restrictions, sir.
Well, I know that was what I was getting at. But no, I fully agree with that. Say I would do that. I used to do that too all the time. I would go in solo and start. Well, let's play with this class or do this a little bit and just go have some fun killing some Zed. Another one I know that is popular from school and whatnot that didn't get very good reviews, but people just love the shit out of Monster Hunter series. I haven't
Oh, yeah.
played it. I've seen it, but that did not. That's a low, say high 6, low 7 out of 10, over 9 out of 10 by people playing it. That play it or the general community.
See, and I've done some looking at the PC one, and it looks pretty good. Like I'm pretty interested in seeing where it goes. I've never played the other ones, so because I think they were for what the Nintendo handheld stuff, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really had a chance to play those, but from what I've seen from the PC one they're coming out with, it looks pretty good, and it looks like it definitely could be fun to play with friends. So I'm kind of interested to see what they come up with their complete finished product of that.
Hmm. They had one. Well, they had one for sure for the PSP also that I seen. And then I was say one of the say just to look at on the movie side that one that caught my eye that I even remember watching initially and loved that and whatnot was the old the Happy Gilmore.
Oh man,
That got very 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 bad reviews, but a lot of people loved that movie.
I love that fucking movie. Anytime you get to see fucking Bob Barker beat Adam Sandler's ass, come on now, doesn't get much better than that, sir.
What was
Yeah,
it? There is a trailer out, and I can't remember it, but like Adam Sandler is actually doing a mildly serious role again, or trying to. Like he's trying to pull a Jim Carrey.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen it, but I do not understand why those guys do that.
Well, that was actually speaking of Jim Carrey. That was another one. The old Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. That got like a 3 to 4 out of 10, and users were like more than twice that.
Yeah,
And what else was there? Die Hard was another one that was on that list. The first one.
Oh yeah.
That got very bad reviews and was that people loved a lot.
Now I'm gonna flex my critic bone here. Zero, you want to know why they do that? Very simple. Because some of the best they have done, and not to take anything away from comedic actors or anything else, but look at Jim Carrey in The Majestic. Look at Will Ferrell in the one serious movie he did. They are good actors, and this proves the fact that they are not just a comedy icon. They're not just slapstick. They have great acting ability, and I would guess you want to be the best at what you do or prove that you are skilled and talented. And this is a chance to go, I'm not just funny because of a voice or dumb shit I do. I'm funny because I'm a talented actor.
Yeah, and say
Yeah.
the Sandler one that goes along with that. That was it Click or whatever? That was I mean, there's a little comedy in there, but that was a
Oh
little more on the
yeah.
serious side too, and that was good.
Yeah, I remember watching Click. It was good. There was a good message behind that too.
Yeah, and that was a mixture. I mean, it still had some of the comedy in it, but it was definitely it was more serious. It wasn't as normal. And that say also what say Racer was saying. Actors that do that. I mean, look at say Matthew McConaughey. He goes all over the place with different roles and types and all that.
Yeah. Now I did have one more that I thought of. The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like when it first came out, critics destroyed that movie. And they still today have midnight showings of that in cities like Los Angeles and New York. Like my old man is a tour guide, and he does a lot of tours up in New York, and he says it never fails. They will always see somewhere with with the Rocky Horror Picture Show playing for a midnight showing.
I've heard that.
Oh, and I mean, people go all out for that shit still. Like
Mhm.
dress up the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, see, every once in a while. Well, it's been a little while now, but I mean, not too long ago, I guess. I would see little news articles pop up here or there about say exactly that happening. People dressing up and going to see say the old midnight showing of it still. See, actually, there was another one that I found that I really liked that the old Ebert in that gave very bad reviews. Was Fight Club.
Oh yeah.
I say I really enjoyed that movie. I liked it. And then say some people with others too, and this is just more on the director side thing and the way they do it. So I liked a lot of the early Tarantino films where some people they just like, how can why they're garbage? How can you watch that? I'm like, it's not normal. It makes you think more. It challenges you. They just yeah they do something for
Tickles your
you.
fancy.
It's not you don't know what's coming and like me, I've always I don't know for whatever reason I've always been the one, and I'm looking at the storyline and I'm thinking ahead and I'm predicting what happens. And most movies, I got them figured out early on, or as it's before it actually happens. Tarantino made you work for it on those, say like the old Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, and all that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Kill Bill did it too. That's when he started getting. I guess he got a little bit more of a following or more people enjoying them. But yeah, the ones before that is when I really got into it.
I guess the thing I would want people to take away is don't let other people tell you what you should enjoy. Find those things for yourself and give things a chance instead of just assuming that just because a community says that something is terrible or a big name critic says something is terrible doesn't mean that you're going to find it terrible.
Yeah, it's very true, and that's why let's say, especially when it comes, well, movies and games both really, and but say especially on the game side of it, and with being limited time and funds and all that now or currently, I go if I'm looking at one, I go and I look deep into it and I look for it as myself. You know the different videos and the gameplay that's out ahead of time. And say for movies, it's all the trailers and whatnot, and see if there's anything that's off from like the other ones that they did previously, changes that I'm not gonna like or something like that. I go and say I look into it for myself and that before I decide. Or say like Racer and I were talking last week with Need for Speed and whatnot. It got me looking more into it, and it reminded me a lot of the older ones that I played and enjoyed. So I ended up rearranging a few things and ended up picking it up.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've beaten this horse, fellas.
We're not going to turn it into glue this time.
Not this time.
Well, the horse, since it's I think it's beaten enough. It's probably not gonna get away. So if we want, we can make glue later.
There is that.
Well, I suppose. Take us out of here then.
Well, so always thank you for listening, and Zero, you know what to do.
Shoot for the stars.
Both the community and the critics say, fuck you.